You're listening to the Jay Bird Watching Podcast, the official podcast of jaysjournal.com and Fansided.com. We are the official ballroom chat for game highlights, rumors, and all the stuff in between. Here is your host, Craig Borden, with co-host Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Good evening, Blue Jays fans and MLB fans alike. Welcome to another episode of Jaybird Watching, specifically episode 431, and we have a full house here with us this evening. Got the normal gang here with me, both co-hosts, Jason Lyons, Liz McGuire. How the two are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for baseball.
Yeah, it's almost Friday.
Yeah, almost Friday, and it's funny, you know, like I was saying to my one son, my wife, she's asked me 4 times, and I said to my one son, I'm like, Jet, if you ever want to know the woman that you should marry, it's the one that asks you 3 to 4 times.
Well played. And then not as frequent of a guest on the show, but a good friend of ours, Brian Pirrip. How you doing, my buddy?
It's not every day I get to sit here and chat with 3 hyper fans of baseball, which is probably more than I do, and that makes me happy because everybody in my world is always like talking about baseball too.
Well, we'll make sure you got plenty of time to chat about that over the hour here. All things included. Liz, you had something?
Yeah, I was just like, you know, real friends are the ones that are going to listen to you talk about baseball. You know? And disagree with you, but still be friends with you.
That's entirely correct.
In this group here, because I'm kind of feeling Jason's hashtag. That's his name this evening. Anybody but the Yankees, but
Let's
but
go.
I don't know about that. So
Totally
let's go. So,
very happy about that.
so we have obviously the World Series matchup is set. We have the 2 best teams in Major League Baseball making the postseason World Series since 1976 was the stat I read earlier today. I am shocked that it has been that long, but I'm thinking about it. It makes a lot more sense now that you've seen the wild cards come in and teams like the That's how it is. So, Brian, how are you feeling with the matchup for LA and the Yankees so far?
This is my dream matchup. I've been wanting since 1981.
Yep.
And I believe I was 2 years old, so I didn't know anything about what was going on in the world. But every year I'll be like, man, my dream scenario would always be a Yankees-Dodgers matchup. I just never thought it was going to happen. It's just such, it's still a pretty low thing. And I remember, when the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020, and before that, a few years before or whatever, it was always this kind of dream scenario. And in baseball, you got Ohtani on one team, and you got Aaron Judge on the other, and so it's like this matchup of just titans. And I'm from Los Angeles, so how am I not going to like that? So for me, it's like a dream scenario, like 7 games, because I love stretching it out. I don't like a fast and finish. Like, yeah, sure, if the Dodgers swept the Yankees, which I don't think will happen, would be cool. But I still want to win. But I would way rather 7 games of just raucous, awesome baseball, and I can't wait.
So, Liz, what are you thinking you're looking forward to the most so far in this?
Here's the 2 things I can guarantee will happen. Number 1, they're going to put Shohei in the bullpen.
I was just thinking I would get to that one, but you got from the gun, but I got you. Go for it.
What's going to happen? Okay, my other thing that's going to happen is, I don't know, LA is going to go crazy. New York is crazy. Those fan bases are so intense, of the fervor and passion of the LA fans in the early Padres LA series. That was amazing. And I was like, this is the best. I was hoping the series would carry like that, but then LA just stomped them into the ground. Anyway, so I'm very excited about that.
Jason, tell me what you're thinking. Obviously, we already got your hashtag in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everyone knows that I can't stand the Yankees, but I mean, I think the biggest thing in it, you know, and there's been a lot of talk on it, that people are much more apt to be cheering for the Dodgers. I think in this sort of hated, you know, entity that nobody can really put their finger on how many different times you can hate them and how many different ways you can hate them. Like, I mean, it's too much money, it's overspending, it's the cap, it's all of these different things. And then, you know, a lot of times it's also the pompous attitude and everything else that comes with it. You know, one of the things that I was kind of scared of was the Subway Series. You know, if it did happen, it would have been one of those things where you were like, oh God, it's ego v ego v ego v. So, I mean, I like to see the Dodgers in. I mean, obviously the Dodgers have paid quite a bit of money to have their team as successful as they are. You know, it's great that they're paying Shohei enough money that at one point he'll own the team. But I'm excited for this series. I'm excited for like you were saying, there's a decent amount of vitriol in this, and you know, we really are looking at two all-star teams playing each other. So why not be super entertained by the baseball that's about to come?
So, Brian, I got to ask you the question. You are the one that is, you know, actually in LA. You guys have been, you know, building a dynasty, and now you've got the, you know, the big feather in your hat with, you know, stealing Shohei Ohtani from us Blue Jays fans, because, you know, that was almost a thing for 5 seconds. Have you guys, as, you know, Dodgers fans and living in LA, have you felt that, like, from other fan bases, the hate starting to come your way for the whole, you know, quasi-Yankees thing going on a little bit? Or has it been the exact opposite where everybody's all fandom and loving it?
People hate us. Everyone hates us. Like on the West. Yeah, like I went to a bunch of the Padres Dodgers games. I went to the ones at Petco Park in San Diego. I walked in loud and proud with my Dodgers gear, and man, I got all kinds of heckled. Like, yeah. There's definitely a feeling in San Diego and, you know, Anaheim, Orange County, where actually that's where I live right now, is not too far from Anaheim Stadium. And no, the Dodgers are seen as kind of the enemy. Like nobody in California, at least, and I would say Arizona and Utah and Nevada. You know, the West Coast is not like, they're the Yankees. You know, like if you guys were on the West Coast and I was talking to Vancouver Canadians instead of Toronto ones, you guys would be like, you'd be hashtag anybody but the Dodgers. I promise. There's a lot of vitriol towards Dodgers and Dodger fans. Like when I was walking around in Padres, you know, at Petco Stadium, people were like, go back to Los Angeles. You guys are terrible fans. You know, that kind of stuff. And then I'd give them a pack of base. They quiet down pretty good.
And isolated. Did you almost get kicked out of Petco?
No, that's the thing, is I only ever have problems. The only
that's funny or what?
It's my home stadium, and yet I've, you know, been threatened to be kicked out twice, and for doing, you know, pretty nice things. Just giving out the baseball cards, and they're like, one more time, you're out of here, man. And I'm like, you know what? It's never going to happen. I'm going to keep taking cards in until they finally let me.
I felt like I channeled you with Liz one day, because Liz and I were trying to hype up the podcast, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I have a bunch of baseball cards that I have doubles of and everything, kind of like what you did with the kids for Halloween last year. I packed them up with a bunch of insert cards and everything. I had probably about 50, you know, Ziploc bags of cards, something like that. And like I said, it was outside of my own collecting. It's not like I was taking all the inserts out or anything like that. I brought a lot of really cool cards for kids, and I just started handing out a coaster with our logo on it and cards. Liz was helping me out, and of course the security guards outside the Rogers Center, same thing. I wasn't even in the ballpark yet. Can't do that here. I'm like, I'm not selling anything.
Yeah, no, it is pretty funny.
Freebies.
But, you know, I don't necessarily mind that stuff, because, man, it massively drives up engagement. like, because everyone has an opinion on the topic, right? And most people are like, fight the power or take it in, like that kind of stuff. So whatever, it's at the end of the day, it's just promoting baseball. And that's my thing, is promoting baseball and baseball cards and positive relations between people and trying to build bridges between people that don't like each other in today's world. And so the baseball cards have turned out to be a really good medium for that.
Yeah. And we'll get to this talking about that, but I just had to tell you that story because it was too great there. But it was one of those things. So obviously we do have the series going, and tomorrow night it is going to be Gerrit Cole and Jack Flaherty right off the bat. So I don't know what is going to come out of that whole thing. Jack Flaherty is still mind-boggling to me that he's having the resurgent series that he is, and Gerrit Cole has not had the season that he has been having. It could be a very interesting game, and my predictions for this whole series was I think these two offenses are just going to beat the living snot out of each other, but that's what I was thinking. But Jason, I'll go around the horn that way this time. What are you thinking as far as that matchup for Game 1?
Well, I mean, I think that, again, my disdain for people like Gerrit Cole and the way that he would never, ever back himself up. He's a coward, and everyone knows he's a coward. And even when Alek Manoah walked right over and was like, just come on out, just come right out, just walk past that Audi sign, he didn't. And so he's got a lot of terrible things to say about a lot of people in the majors. And I have no respect for the guy. I think he's got no class. He's the kind of guy that when a ball flies out of the yard against him, it just makes you feel good. It's like you giving a pack of cards away, Brian. It's like Manny Machado getting out. It's that good feeling, like baseball just poking him right in the eye. But I think we've all seen over the last couple of weeks that the pitching has suffered. Of all of the things that we thought would be strong from both of these teams, I think pitching's been their worst. I mean, they've proven they can hit the ball out at any time. They've proven that in clutch situations, especially the Dodgers. I mean, what did the Dodgers score? 49 runs or something, 47 runs? Like, I mean, it was crazy. They're going to they're the Edmonton Oilers from the 80s. They're going to outscore their problems. They don't care if they've got a bad goalie. They're going to outscore you. And so for me, this is the kind of matchup that makes me salivate. I love this because I know that the Dodgers hitters are just like, we just want to shut this guy up. And on the other side of things, I feel like the Dodgers starter has been pretty humble for a guy who's trying to live out a childhood dream of winning a championship from the place he grew up in on the team he cheered for. I mean, it's a much different story.
Liz, you want to jump in on that one?
No, I don't think I have anything more to say.
Got nothing. Don't want to
No,
touch that.
I got nothing. No.
Brian, I'll let you run with that if you want. Otherwise, I'll move to Game 2's matchup.
I have a slightly different take on that because I have a bit of a personal connection to Gerrit. Don't worry, I won't tell him what he said, Jason.
There it is. Those Blue Jays fans got scorned. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no. I like Gerrit. That's despite him being a Yankee. Part of it is he's from here. Like he's from Orange County. He's not too far from where I am right now, like his hometown. But the main reason I mean, not the main reason, just one of the things I like is because I'm more on the sports cards, the baseball cards side. Gerrit Cole is one of the more bigger collectors, and so he's been good for the hobby of baseball card collecting. And I tend to gravitate towards players that have that interest, that collect themselves, and I see that kind of side of them. Yeah, I just can't wait to see the Dodgers destroy him, though, because you're right. Seeing those scores against the Mets and just the number of hits and home runs and grand slams and just like the highest scoring series in postseason history, I think, right? In history, come on. right?
I love the fact that you couldn't go away from the games, and if you did, you knew you would come back to a much different score. You would leave it at one score, and you would go and do something, and you would almost laugh. You'd be like, "I wonder how many runs they've scored in the last 20 minutes. Like, is it 6?
Yeah.
Is it 15?"
And you come back to it and kind of have that "what the hell happened" kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a very like it was a series that didn't really know what it was. I remember being in Padres on I think it was game 3, and they had us down 10-1 or 2 at one point, and I was completely surrounded by Padres fans, and everyone is in my face just being like, "Man, you guys are getting routed. You guys are done. There's nothing coming back from this." And then the next game, I think we beat them 10, whatever. Or no, sorry, I'm still thinking Padres. But with the Mets, the swings between wins and it wasn't like close games. It was I went to the Dodgers Mets as well, and it was just the huge swings in scores, and I've never seen that before. And so seeing high scoring baseball games is exciting as a fan. And so I hope we see Ohtani hitting home runs, Mookie Betts hitting home runs, Freddie Freeman. Look at that roster. It's just ridiculous. And so Garrett Cole hasn't had the best year, but they're going to destroy him in game 1. There's no way around it. Especially, home turf. Come on.
Yeah. So there's another hometown moment that is going to happen at the beginning of the game. Unfortunately, Dodgers and baseball fans had the passing of Fernando Valenzuela over the past week, and they are paying tribute on the Dodgers World Series jerseys with his number. Though I would assume there's going to be something before the game, but you talk about a guy that means something to a franchise. That's the same for us Blue Jays fans, is like what happened, unfortunately, with Roy Halladay and some of these other ones that we've lost over the years, the Tony Fernandez. But Fernando Valenzuela, I remember my dad talking all day, every day when I was younger about Fernando. So, Brian, you being the Dodgers fan in the room.
Yeah, that was 2 days ago. To you? That was a shock. I grew up in the Valenzuela era. I started watching Dodgers baseball in probably 1986. And so he was the guy. When you think about the best Dodgers in history and who would go down as the best Dodgers, particularly of the Los Angeles Dodgers, forget the Brooklyn Dodgers, but the Los Angeles Dodgers, I would say he's one of the top 5 most beloved baseball players. But from the 80s, he was number 1. That was the guy. And so, he died really young. I think he was in his early
63, I think it said.
63, is that how old?
Yeah.
And so he was also a huge just bonding kind of person for Los Angeles. Everyone, it didn't matter what people's backgrounds, everyone loved Fernando Valenzuela. Even this last game I went to with Mets Dodgers, it was amazing how many people in the stadium still wear a Valenzuela jersey. That was just a week ago. And so he means a lot to the city. I think people are really going to be really upset about it, really sad about it. I mean, my favorite Dodger when I was a kid was Oral Hershiser. But, I also like Kirk Gibson. But I couldn't make a list, even probably the top 3, without saying Fernando Valenzuela. He's a Los Angelino at his core, and the city is definitely going to be mourning him for a bit.
I saw one of the better things scrolling around on Instagram earlier today that I didn't know this clip, but it was Vince Scully was supposed to throw out the first pitch, and obviously now with him being not of this earth anymore, to him rest in peace as well. He comes out and he goes, my arm just can't quite get going today. I might have to call in another lefty. And, Fernando Valenzuela comes out to a great pop.
That was beautiful.
Crowd noise.
Yep.
It was an amazing little moment for the two of them, obviously. And that clip has been making its rounds all over again for baseball fans and baseball enthusiasts. And it, like I said, I know what that gentleman means to the city of Los Angeles. And I got choked up a little bit. Fernando Mania will always live on in LA. So,
100%.
Jason, you look like you had something you were going to say.
He was just, Fernando Valenzuela is one of those guys. He was bigger than the game. He meant a ton to Dodgers fans, but I feel like he meant a lot to to any of the Spanish descent baseball players that were coming up through that time, because it was kind of a weird time of, like guys from the DR and guys from Mexico and guys from odd place or other places that were, just trying to get their footing with a lot of teams. And Fernando was just, it was just him. He came out, he threw the ball hard. He had, a weird delivery, weird windup, all of those things. He was kind of fat. He was all those things that you didn't see traditionally. And Bartolo was in that sort of, era with him a little bit. And, it was just a totally different person. And you tended to cheer for him. And I wouldn't say I was ever a Dodgers fan back then, but I was certainly a fan of his. And I appreciated the man. I appreciated what he did. And, it's really nice when you can have somebody pass and you can have so many people say so many nice things, right? It's you hate it when it's the other way. So it's nice. Hate to see him go, but nice to see all the great tributes pour in.
Well said, Jace.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say, as far as guys that had a ridiculous run in their career, this guy had a 10-year window that was
magic touch,
Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
It was just no hitters, 20 complete games one year. Oh my God. Just, to the baseball card references we keep throwing in, there's too much peppered in on the back of this baseball card for his stats, and not to mention the content of his character. So
he was really sad that he didn't get inducted into the Hall of Fame. I always thought he would, even when I disappeared from baseball for probably a decade, doing other things in life and living in different places, and kind of lost touch with the game for 10 years. And I remember coming back into it and being like, oh, he's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I was very shocked when I came back into it. I was like, whoa, how is he not in the Hall? Because he was everything to LA during that time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's still the only Rookie of the Year award winner and MVP award winner in a Major League Baseball season.
I think so. Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
That is wild. That's how insanely good he was his first season. And they were, I was curious about his fun here with his Hall of Fame stuff, and he didn't miss by much, so maybe he does make it in on some of these new veteran committees and stuff like that. But it does suck that he won't be able to be there in character to be able to have that speech too, because that would have been one of the more fun ones, I think, to be able to witness that man doing his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, with baseball cards, I tend to collect the Hall of Fame players from every year. That's kind of the subset. And so every year I collect them all. And there's only 2 players that I collect that are not Hall of Famers that I still include in that. 3. I still collect Don Mattingly ones, even though he's not in the Hall. I still collect Mark Grace, even though he wasn't in the Hall. And I still collect Fernando Valenzuela, even though he's not in the Hall. And so those are the 3 guys that kind of are my Del Murphy. There's 4. Okay. He'll be in the Hall.
And to that point, those are 3 amazing players and 2 worthy of being in the Hall at least. And Mark Grace is not too far behind either.
100%.
Yeah. Exactly.
As
baseball Blue Jays fans, whoever's listening, you got 41 of you out there. Drop some questions in the chat. Go ahead, Jason.
As an aside, have you guys seen that awesome meme that's making the rounds right now of the kid in the Shohei Ohtani baseball card costume?
Yeah, costume? Yeah.
That's a great Halloween costume.
Guys, I realized something. Last year I went as Garth for Halloween, and I have all this vintage Jays gear. So I'm going to be Kelly Gruber this year. Because I'm just gonna take the same mullet wig and put the hat on. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get my shit together enough to do the box, but doubtful. I'm just gonna be a problematic babe of Blue Jay.
Yeah, there you go.
And then make sure you send some pictures if you do that to Ken, because that's still Ken, his favorite Major League Baseball player of all time. Hence, why we always do a Kelly Gruber every 5 minutes on the show. It seems like. But anyways, let's, like I said, there's one more game in LA before the series would go back to New York to start fresh Monday, and it's going to be Carlos Rodon versus Yamamoto. So you talk about a guy that's had a really up and down season in Rodon.
Yep.
Yamamoto is coming back from an injury and looking pretty good. Brian, what are you thinking for that matchup?
Oh, Yamamoto, man. I love that guy. He's awesome. He's just so methodical. And no, I think he's going to have the win that day.
Yeah. Liz, what are you thinking for game 2?
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I do agree with Brian, but every time I want something to happen, the opposite happens. So I'm just going to
So you're gonna say you want Rodon to win just so we see the right thing happen?
No, I do not. Never the Yankees, but I do follow Rodon's wife on Twitter, and watching her just like lose her shit is the best. She'll just like curse out whatever she needs to support her man, which is like respect to that.
Respect. Yeah.
Jason, go for it.
Well, Rodon is in the Garrett Cole category for me. I mean, I don't know if there's anything better when he, was sticking his tongue out and flexing his arm at the other dugout, and then the next inning they go yard on him and then they do it again. It's like, you know what, man? The baseball gods will get you every single time, and that's what worries me about Juan Carlos Stanton and about Soto in this series is they have both been tempting the baseball gods with bat flips and stuff to the other dugout. Aaron Judge, I got to give it to him. The guy is a consummate pro. He is a pro's pro. He's out there in center field. He's got people dingbats that are yelling the most asinine things at him while he's trying to make plays, and he's just cool as a cucumber, playing his game. But Soto and Juan Carlo, I mean, Juan Carlo went from basically me to him in a couple of weeks. And I don't think it's possible for him to keep it up. I mean, I know it's got to be tough to pitch around those three, but then when you look at it on the other side, the thing for me, and this is what sways me for the Dodgers in this whole series, is the Yankees have 3 murderers. The rest are okay. The Dodgers, you can't tell where it's coming from. Like, if Kike doesn't hit a home run, then Max Muncy will hit a home run. If Shohei doesn't hit a home run, then Freddie Freeman hits a home run. Or Mookie does. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying, or Teoscar. Like, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what the Dodgers can do. And they've got 3 or 4 guys that can come off the bench. Like, what's that 25-year or 23-year-old kid, Rojas? He comes off the bench and hits 2 dingers, and you're like, what? What? And so, I mean, the rich get richer, and we're not.
Whatever. I just want lots of dingers. I will also say, did you guys see what Aaron Judge said about Shohei Ohtani? The gossip, the drama. When he said he's the best player in baseball. I love it. So good.
Hey, at least they're right on each other about that. But to that point, I'm gonna go feeling some Kirk Gibson vibes here for you, Brian. Do you think Freddie Freeman has a moment like that? He's still not fully healthy, and he's been finding a way to sneakily contribute to this. But I had that dawn on me in a conversation with some friends the other day, and I'm like, so baseball.
I was so hoping he was going to have the Kirk Gibson moment in the last series. Yeah, I mean, if anybody would, he's the guy to do it, right? Like, he's such a good guy. Story with his son. He's if anyone deserves it, it's definitely him. Also, yeah, I mean, he's a home kid. Like, he's a hometown town kid now. He's Californian, and so I think if he had a Kirk Gibson moment, and I remember that game. That was probably the first World Series I actually really paid attention to and watched. It was the '88, and I remember that scene. That was my first kind of impactful sports moment of my life, was seeing Kirk Gibson hit that home run. And so, yeah, seeing Freddie do that would be just dream come true. I just don't know what they're going to do with him.
Freddie Freeze says he's 100% playing. I'll give you, if he's really 100%, would be I would think a stretch from watching him run in the last series a little bit. But you can't, Canadians love him too because of his family and everything. So there's a nice connection for us as Blue Jays fans. Then we also get to root for a guy that we really helped put on the map and Teoscar Hernandez. Kevin Kiermaier was on the team to begin the season with the Blue Jays. Surface up as a nice defensive option for you guys in center. So there's a lot of things that lean us in that direction too.
Hey, Tim Meza is a Yankee. Come on.
He is a Yankee.
How are we not cheering for the Yankees? I mean, Tim Meza did so much as a Blue Jay.
Yeah, somebody was on me. I posted a meme I made of, the Simpsons meme where it's like, do it for her. And I made it do it for them. It had pictures of my guy Teo and the homeboy KK. And people were like, what about Tim Meza? And I was like, fuck Tim Meza. Like, this man has let me down so many times. Like, I'm fucking done with Tim Meza. Like, no.
The problem is we rode that roller coaster for too many years, and I'm happy he's having a resurgence, but the guy couldn't even hit water if he threw out of a boat this year, and now I'm glad he's turned it around because I really think he has a few more good years with whoever, but I doubt he's going to stick in that Yankee bullpen after they get some new offseason stuff coming in. But hey, that'll be the one very, 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 very minimal bright spot if the Yankees do something in this movie that I'll find.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, is there anything else on the World Series storylines or anything you guys would like to chit chat on before we do our underdog fantasy promo here that we have to do and do some picks for game one, and then we'll dock baseball cards and collecting to close out their show here.
Yeah. I was curious to ask Jason, like, are there, with this total dislike for Yankees, was there ever? I mean, you said nice things about Aaron Judge. Were there any Yankees of the past that
Reggie Jackson,
do you like? Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson. I love Reggie Jackson. I mean, I'm willing to admit this, and it's not probably the proudest, but for 2 years in a row, when I was a very little kid, I went as Reggie Jackson for Halloween. I wore black face paint and the whole works when that was, I mean, we all understand that. I mean, I wasn't trying to do anything. I was like 8. I was 7. But, I mean, he was bigger than the game at that point. I mean, any time that October came around, it was just like, I'm going to take all of this stuff off and I'm just going to be baseball. He did everything. And for a kid who was a baseball fan, it was just like it was like Ricky Henderson. Like Ricky Henderson did everything. And you're like, okay, Rick, I bet you can't catch that. Oh yeah, you caught that ball. Okay, well, I bet you can't steal third. Oh yeah, you stole third. And you stole home. That's what he was like to me. And I mean, I think my dislike started Billy Martin-ish. I feel like that's when the Yankees really started to wear that sort of asshole hat. And, Billy was a great manager and they had great teams during that, but it was just like, and I don't know if it's the Canadian in me, because I feel like my dad is like this, and I know a lot of people are. It's the have-not syndrome. It's you don't like the teams that are that have the haves and they get all the draft picks and they get all the money and they have all the World Series championships. I'm a Canucks fan, for God's sakes. 52 years without a Stanley Cup. I mean, it's you start to think about things, but. I mean, I feel like baseball has evolved, though, where I can say to myself, I like Aaron Judge as a player. I mean, I'd like him to be traded somewhere else, but I like him as a player. There's been a few Yankees. I like Jazz Chisholm. I didn't think he was going to get there, but I mean, that guy has changed the way that the Yankees look with with his purple shoes and his AI is absolutely ridiculous sliding mitts and stuff like that. Like he's giving them some character. The Yankees have no character. They're just they're no
Blando, real Blando.
And I'll never forget
those sideburns, man.
Never forgive them for making them cut off Andrew McCutcheon's dreads. I mean, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
that's McCutch.
Trim those sideburns, Mattingly.
Yeah, trim those sideburns, Mattingly. Anyways, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think it's just a general disdain for someone for a team that just is like luxury tax and just move on.
But that's actually a good question for the group, Brian, that you got there too. So Liz, I'm gonna let you field that one too. Is there a Yankee that you did actually, regardless of the hate for the evil empire, that you actually did transcend that hate?
No, when I got back into baseball 14 years ago. Oh, damn, I hated the Yankees. I don't know. There's such an embedded culture of winning, and they were the bullies of the league that I felt like.
100%.
We played them a lot. They were beating the shit out of us all the time. I didn't like that. And you know what? I also hate Tampa because, man, they used to just take the piss out of us, and they weren't very good even when they did it. And the Jays I saw the Jays 2016 were excellent team, just like would lose 0 to 10 to Tampa. Anyway, no respect for any of the Yankees.
Nope, got nothing.
Nothing.
If I'm going to pick somebody, I always love Bernie Williams, and maybe it's just the fact that he is a crazy good musician outside of baseball that I, have that other piece to it that I'm a drummer. But Bernie Williams always struck me as one of those guys that's a class act, and maybe it's just because he hit some home runs with George Costanza in batting practice.
I would do it. Good answer.
So there you go. Brian, I didn't know if you had one that stood out too or at all, but
For me, it was always Mattingly, and that Donnie baseball was. It didn't matter where you were from. It was kind of like back in the '90s when everybody liked Michael Jordan. It didn't matter how much you destroyed your team or whatever. Everybody respected and liked Jordan, and I would say the same was true for kids in the late '80s. Don Mattingly was our kind of hero back then.
I think it was interesting that there was about 5 guys in the majors that sort of held that same sort of equal moniker to Mattingly, like George Brett and Don Mattingly and Mike Schmidt, and there was just Cal Ripken. There was 5 or 6 guys that really they were universal. They didn't do anything above or anything crazy, but they were so respected and so liked. And I mean, I can't say I wasn't a Mattingly fan. I always liked him as a man and as a player.
Yeah.
Played the game with a ton of respect. I mean,
No, he's still technically currently employed with the Blue Jays. We'll see how that's going to continue to go. And I know everybody in Blue Jays baseball fandom, regardless of what name or whose name in the management group, it's why are they still here is kind of the general.
Why is Don Mattingly still there? Like, straight up. Great baseball player. Probably an awesome dude. Bud, your coaching record is trash.
Stories.
So, but we'll see where the rest of the offseason goes on that. I still don't think our one hitting coach replacement here that we had this week was going to be enough to bring us over the promised land, but we'll see. So, Jason, I figured seeing we got to do the promo here for the Underdog Fantasy Sports, we can do the promo and then we'll do our picks for the thing and then we'll translate into talking collecting.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So, as most of you guys know, we signed on with, or Underdog Fantasy signed on with us a little while ago. We have had some fun using it. We're going to show you guys after, just how easy it is to go in and make your picks. And oddly enough, for 3 people who kind of joke about when we do it, we've actually made a bunch of money doing this. Which is
not a bunch of money. Just enough that we'll keep making sure we can keep getting out more fun things for our Blue Jays fans as presents.
Yeah, just keep gambling fun, I like to say, and this is fun for us.
Tens of dozens of dollars, maybe.
Yes. Well, it's new. I need a lot of shampoo with this new hair I got going on, so it's all going into my shampoo budget. The big thing for this, everybody, is that Underdog Fantasy is a super easy to use and play. It's even easier to get started. If you go to their easy-use mobile app or go to underdogfantasy.com, you can sign up with promo code JAYBIRD, and that's JAYBIRD, all caps. And Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry, plus a first-time deposit of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JAYBIRD, to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and your deposit offer. Now, here's all the legal jargon. I'm going to try and do my best with this because I like to do it fast so we don't have to. So you've got to be 18 to play it. It's not available in all states. Can't play it in New England and in, I think, Alabama, Colorado. Got to be 21 and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply, void in Colorado. If you are concerned with your play or a partner's play, you can always call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, you can call 1-800-NEXT-STEPS or next steps to 53342. In the New York area, you can always call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York, which is 467-369.
Boom. Best promo guy in the business.
That was good, man. That was excellent.
So let's have some fun. See, and I got the card up. So obviously the game's tomorrow night. So higher or lower on a lot of these things I think would make some really damn good sense. And I'm looking at Garrett so if anybody hasn't played this on their platform, it is parlays. So you got to have at least 3 picks, put a dollar amount in, and all those picks cannot be from one team. So I'm kind of sitting here going, the Dodgers still strike out enough that maybe Garrett Cole's not the smart pick here, that he can probably get a few strikeouts. There's got to be a strikeout bet. No, not. Well, somebody think he'll get at least 1 strikeout in the first inning against the Dodgers core?
No.
Liz?
No.
It's a bad bet.
I don't
Don't
think
take
he's
that
going.
Oh, I won't do that. No.
I think it's a lower.
Yeah,
It's a
take lower.
No,
Yes.
No strikeouts.
Let's go.
Locked in.
Great.
And I'm feeling quite ballsy that somebody is, going to take the higher here on Shohei Ohtani getting an actual home run in this game, because I just think this kid loves the spotlight. Brian, I don't know what you think, but I just can't. He's found a way to do it every time.
Higher.
I like this.
And then the other piece, I'm surprised they don't have the same things with the strikeouts for Jack Flaherty, but going through the top of the Yankee lineup is a complete different piece to that. Especially if they get one hit, John Carlos comes up. So then he's usually either a home run or a strikeout, maybe the other. Or do we bet for Mookie to do something? I like the bet on Mookie personally.
That's a tough one. Mookie is so hot or so cold.
He's unpredictable, but he had a really good run last week.
He did. He was on fair.
I
think it was new shoes.
Total bases. I kind of like that.
What is it?
Him getting two total bases in the game Friday.
Yeah, you love that.
Do it.
Yeah,
got it.
Lock it in.
All right, clicking it in, confirmed, all good. Yay! So, like I said, we're going to use that for marketing and prize money for the show, and more baseball cards on the Pack Night rips. So that hence the spinning wheel behind me here. Spin it, see what happens. So, anyway. We have an awesome guest here that does amazing work with baseball cards, and I want to make sure I give Brian a chance to tell some of his awesome stories from me moving around and telling some of his stories about giving out freebies at baseball cards early in the show. You have a great product that you have that I will make sure you want to do, because I do greatly think that you are going to shake the game up very efficiently, Brian, with that. So talk to us. Where you been? What's been going on? You've been visiting card shops. You got cards you're hunting for. What's up?
Yeah, everything I'm doing right now is all about putting out the M1nt product line. M1nt is a M1nt. That's how it's spelled. And all of the M1nt products are meant to improve the displayability, the protection, and the presentation of cards. So, whenever most people, when everybody was a kid, if you got a nice baseball card, you put it into a tiny little piece of plastic, or if you got all fancy, you'd get a big piece of plastic. Like, there we go. Like just that right there. There's a top loader. And there we go.
Right, show off your product while you're talking.
Yeah. And so we built these cases, these holders that are made out of steel and glass and Viton and titanium. And we made them so they're entirely counterfeit proof. You cannot counterfeit them. Once a card goes in, it's safe, it's secure, it's UV protected. It's got a computer chip on the inside so that there's essentially, it can't be counterfeited. And if it's stolen, you can track it. A few months ago, somebody had $2 million of baseball cards stolen at a card show, and that era is over. So we've also made something on the kind of the entry level side. So obviously something made out of steel and titanium and all these fancy alloys is going to be pricier, 20 different pieces, but we made a version, what we call the hobby case, which he's showing right there in that picture.
There you go. Let me give you the chance to show off Vladdy there.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah,
that was the card you were actually just about to trade for, weren't you?
What's that?
Liz was trying to trade for one of those the other day.
I have that. I think I have that very card.
Well, then
is that it?
Well.
No, maybe a different one. I don't know. Somebody sent me. Yep. Yeah, somebody sent me a Vladdy. I don't know. Vladdy
this is 2016 Bowman Chrome autograph refractor.
Yeah, no, the one I want is in chrome. Yeah, that's fancy.
Yeah, no, this is the fancy stuff. But it was like we built these cases that are kind of like almost like a SIM card going into a SIM tray, and it locks in there, and it looks a lot better. It's UV protected, and it makes it much nicer to show or display, and it just feels a lot nicer. And so I've been traveling the country and trying to finish all the manufacturing and partnerships, and trying to make sure that I can get these out into the public. And so we actually just sent out a bunch of pre-order people that had done like pre-order. We did this very small pre-order release about a year ago, and said, people that could participate at that. And we just shipped out a bunch of these yesterday, actually. So there should be a bunch of people around the country starting to receive some of the pre-order cases. But that's what I do, is I build these cases, and then on that website, scroll down further, You'll
Let me
see
get it back.
we've built even cooler than the cases and these really nice displays is we've if you go down even further.
Wait for it.
There you go.
This guy?
We built these wall displays so that you can put your glass case with your best cards. And essentially what we've done is we're turning cards into art. And we want this to be respected in the same way that other art is. Because, there's baseball cards that are worth up to $30 million for a single card, like a PSA 1952 Mickey Mantle. Would sell for $30 million at auction in its perfect form. And in my opinion, why is a $30 million baseball card sitting in a piece of cheap, 99-cent plastic? And so I've always thought that those things deserve more dignity. They deserve to be treated like the fine arts that they are, because there's so much history in baseball cards. It's a 140-year-old hobby. 140 years. Not a lot of hobbies can say they've been around for 140 years. And with that kind of history, why isn't it that people can take pride in their collections? Whereas most people, what they do is they shuffle their cards into either a safe or a cardboard box. They put it into their storage, and they're often embarrassed about it, or significant others don't want it all displayed because it comes across as tacky and cheap and kind of just not very nice. So we wanted to make it something that people thought they could take pride in. And when you go into someone's house and they have a mint display on their wall and their case is done like that, this is something that rivals. I mean, we're any kind of fine art. So that's what I've been kind of traveling the country doing, traveling the world doing, and in the process of doing that, to make it fun for me, because hanging out in hotels all day every day, I spent 550 nights in hotels over the last 3 years.
Wow.
And that's quite a lot.
I've been there on that one.
And so to make things a bit more enjoyable for myself, I've been doing social media channel where, I go to card shops in all these different towns I go to. And I like to get to know the local flavor of it. It's a really amazing thing that I can go to any city in at least, Canada, United States, where there will always be a card shop, and there will be a card shop, relatively close. And anytime you go to those card shops, there's a lot of local flavor. You can get to know a town by the people you meet at a baseball card shop. And so whether I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Fort Carson, Nevada, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I can get to know what the area is like because I'll go to my hotel, I'll roll by the card shop. I don't need to spend anything crazy. Just go by, say hi, because all of a sudden I'm talking to like-minded people that we all share a certain commonality. And it's a 12 months a year kind of commonality. So even if baseball's off season, you're able to go into a card shop and it doesn't matter. Everyone's still jazzed about what their cards are and, what's happening in the world. And next thing you know, you're having some really great conversations with people that you would have never connected to otherwise. Like I was in Memphis like a couple weeks ago, and I walked into this card shop, and the guy that was there, he was just this local dude. He'd been living in Memphis his whole life. And I thought I was going to be in there for 2 minutes. I walked out like an hour later, and I was like, I called this guy my friend because we had this connection and we were talking about the same kinds of things. And even though we're just talking about sports and baseball and cards, we're actually communicating as like two humans that are just bonding. And now we're buddies, And I had actually the same experience when I was in Toronto. I rolled by a few different. I think the last time I was in Toronto was 2 years ago, and I went to a game. I ripped some packs of 2019 Bowman sitting in the stands, and I
searching for Vladdy.
Yeah, searching for Vladdy, and at the time for Wander Franco rookies. Oops. And,
oops. There's a big oops.
That's what I was looking for, right? And I remember I went to like two different card shops around Toronto, and trying to pick up some packs, and I met some people there and just had a really cool experience. And ate some really good food and sat at some really cool rooftop bar, and I forget what part of town, but man, I had a great time in Toronto.
There you go. So I got a little bit of a story for you here. I showed Liz and Jason this the other day, but it reminded me of this, talking about this whole thing, because my local card shop here in Rochester, New York is called We the Hobby, who I really think I need to start getting you in touch with, because you are the same mentality as they are as far as the spreading the hobby and the love that is all things, sports cards and baseball. So here in Rochester, New York, we have a local legend that they, on the card shop, decided to immortalize. So here's the story. That first, this is the gentleman. This is Tom Giroux, and this is the Conehead. He has been at Rochester Red Wings games, Buffalo Sabres games, Buffalo Bison's games forever. The guy is about 52 years old, still gives out beer, and he actually has his own beer, which is the funner part here, I think. Oh, it didn't work the way I wanted to here. 2 seconds. If I was sharing my screen, I shared just the tab. So anyways, such a local legend. One of the bars here in town actually immortalized him with his own IPA. So where else can we go, right? So the baseball card shop here, like I said, in Rochester, New York, called We the Hobby, turned around and immortalized him with a full painting on the side of the actual card shop. It is 30 feet tall.
Incredible.
So this is me, like if I was walking down the street from where the parking lot is here in the city to get to the card shop, that is this card shop right around the side there. There's 100% the door I walk in to get
what
my
a great
baseball
way
cards.
to be a legend. Sweating. So the visual here is Conehead. Is sweating through a Conehead. I wonder if he just had the one or he had many, because like those would be hard to find, man.
I'm just thinking they're gonna be like a collector's item at this point now. So always got some guy that makes some special order for him.
Maybe.
I gotta get him on the show and get the story.
Yeah.
I love that stuff about baseball. Is there's so many of these interesting personalities and that kind of thing. Well, that's really cool. Awesome story.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too. He's been doing it for so long. He's got so many nice things. Like he yells out, "Who needs a beer?" instead of
I bought a beer from
those
Conehead.
kind of things. It's always fun. Yeah, in Buffalo, probably, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So good stuff. Go, Jason. I heard you.
I was wondering, I have a lot of framed jerseys. Have you guys ever considered making some sort of a product, similarly, where it would have a slip and a thing and you could just put it? Because I find that the jersey boxes, like the shadow boxes, are so crappy. It's almost insulting to put such a nice piece of I consider it art similar to you. Like, I mean, I think some of the jerseys I have are phenomenal, and I wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't do anything to not have them, and I would put more up if I had a better way to do it. But have you guys ever looked at that?
Yeah, we will be doing that. Like the whole concept of the company M1nt is to initially start with trading cards, because that's where my interest is and what I know most about, and as far as this kind of hobby space. But we're going to be doing comic books, coins, stamps, action figures, Funko Pops, jerseys, absolutely anything you can collect and display on your wall. We're going to be building very beautiful high-end LCD with app integration and collection kind of features where you can truly be, proud of your collection. So yeah, we're going to do your jersey. A fun little side story on that is, who asked me that exact same question when I showed him M1nt Cases was when I was at Ken Griffey Jr.'s house, and we were hanging out.
I feel like you buried the lead there.
Yeah, bud.
I really feel like you buried the lead on that one, dude.
And so we're sitting in the dude's man cave, and we're sitting at his poker table, and we're opening some packs of cards, eating some barbecue, just talking, hanging out. And he, I was talking to him about the M1nt case and what we're going to do with it, and I made him a specialty one. And then he turns around to all of his jerseys he has on his wall. He's got Jackie Robinson's original this jersey from 1940, whatever. He's got Hank Aaron's this, that, Ken's original this, that. All he has the ultimate memorabilia collection. And he goes, "Brian, as soon as you're done with doing cards, I want you to redo all my jerseys and do my back." And so I was like, "All right, man." And he's like, "Yeah, I got to have my
It's my arm."
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, well, Ken, we'll see what we can do there." So you literally asked the exact same question he did, and the answer is yes. It's just a matter of time.
Now all you need to do, Brian, is just give him my phone number, and I'll just go down there, and Ken and I can work it out together.
Yeah.
Down at his place.
I like that.
No,
There you go.
you really appreciate that, Jace.
I don't
Bring
think
the
I would
engineer
get
in the
through
room
that.
too. It's not a big deal.
I mean, that'd be the biggest for me. I don't know if I could hack that. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
few people in the world that if I met them, I'm not sure, like where you'd just be like, I don't know what I can say to this dude. Like,
Yep.
just sit there, like, just be totally in awe. But I mean,
Well, what's funny
that's
about
super
him,
cool.
he's a huge storyteller, so he just kind of goes from one story to the next, and he's got all these really wild interests. Like he's got a cool Star Wars collection he's really into, and he scuba dives, he race car drives. Like, he wanted to take me and show me his garage of all his favorite cars and what
Amazing.
he's done with those cars, and how he's raced one of his Porsches all across Russia during the Gumball rallies. And he's done the Cannonball Rally. Like, he's just the coolest dude on the planet. And they always say, don't ever meet your heroes. That's one guy you definitely like. He's my hero. I met him and hung out with him a bunch. And now I'm just like, okay, he's the coolest guy. I have way more love after meeting him, and hanging out with him. So he's
And like he's amazing. And like his swing was like poetry in motion. But guys, like he is the cutest rookie card ever. Like he is cute as a button. Like I can't, like he is just absolutely adorable.
I'll let him know.
I love Ken Griffey. Liz, I love Ken Griffey, but I challenge you to find Pavel Bure's rookie card where he's sitting on a thing with rollerblades on and shorts. It is the worst best rookie card ever.
All right, I will say that. But yeah, like when I asked my buddy, I'm like, man, why is everyone so hot in the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card? And then I saw it and I was like, oh, it's because he's adorable.
Yeah, fun little side story with that is I actually took the mint case that I made for him out of the steel and the glass. I gave him the very first Ken Griffey Jr. rookie I ever pulled out of a pack. And I put that into the mint case, and then I gave it to him. And now it's his favorite version of his own rookie card is the one that I gave him, and he takes that with him places. And so, to me, that feels very special, knowing that Ken Griffey Jr. is holding the card I pulled when I was younger in that case. And so, we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. We're going to do giveaways and a lot of make sure that a lot of people get mint cases into their hands, and we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. It's a fun company with great people, and it's going to be we got a lot of cool plans to get the players and the people, the fans closer together.
It's awesome.
Well, keep us posted. You got your own little like outside project team going on here because Liz is actually a project manager by day. Jason's a salesman. I'm an engineer.
And I'm also a collectible. I'm a human, but I'm also a collectible.
The other thing too, Brian, is
look what I started.
The company that I work for does golf simulators and like man caves and that kind of stuff. So this stuff is right up our alley for things that I want. I want one in our office, and
we'll get you one.
Yeah, cool.
Good deal. So, Brian, I would be asking you a disservice and not having you on the show and actually talking about the hunt that you're on and what you currently are in the midst of your traveling looking for in the midst. I think you're still on the hunt for a Barry Sanders rookie card and a few other ones from your current chase, right?
Yeah. No, I always like picking 5 cards that I'm constantly on the lookout for, and when I find one, I tick it off the list and add a new one. And but right now it's Barry Sanders. There's a bunch of 85 Don Russ guys like Roger Clemens, Oral Hershiser, Kirby Puckett. These are all cards I have. I like finding these cards and then giving them away to people. But on the card space, as we're kind of getting close to the end, I want to make sure I show you guys these cards because we were talking World Series. Here are some of the biggest rock star cards in the game. These are
give you a blow up here.
So there you got Shohei Ohtani's refractor autograph card number /100.
Wow.
Mookie Betts is a black autograph refractor number /35. That's an Aaron Judge black refractor number /35, and a Juan Soto gold refractor rookie, all numbered to 50. So these are the kind of like holy grail cards for those 4 players. That and so we've been talking a lot about, at my headquarters here in Huntington Beach, California, about who's going to win, because it's not all peaceful here. Not everyone's a Dodgers fan. And so we've been just using these cards as kind of a chance to kind of compete and talk about the players and who's going to win. But thought you guys might want to see what 4 of the grails in the hobby look like.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
All of an ensemble you have there, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to remove all these from these old plastic cases, and we're going to move those into the mint case.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. And that's a task amongst itself.
Yes,
Getting them out of those.
Yes.
You figure out the tricks. Watching some of the guys do that online, I'm sitting there going, as a guy that uses tools all day, every day, I'm like, oh God, why are you using those?
Yeah.
One guy was going out with like a pair of wire cutters on one side and a pair of pliers on the other. I'm like, just get the 2 pliers and it'd be better off. It's always wild, but that's really cool, Brian, to have that. So is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we do let you go here? Because it has been the hour.
No, it's been fun. You guys are very, very knowledgeable people in baseball, and I love to hear that. There's so many kind of like I love baseball. I love it a lot, but I would never call myself an expert. I don't know the stats. I mispronounce a lot of names when I'm doing my channel. And whenever I think I know a lot about baseball, I always discover there's people that know 10 times more. And it's kind of like this, such a great life hobby, just baseball, of trying to, learn as much as you can. And so when I talk to the 3 of you, I feel like I'm talking to 3 super experts, and that's really, for me, that's really fun. So I very much enjoy talking to the 3 of you. And, and I suspect, Liz, that you're going to have your face on a beer can.
Well, I hope not. I hope that nobody else has to see my face. But like people seem to like it. I'm like, sweet. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
No, you're one.
You got your paint. I guess the bigger question is, you got your painting yet?
Yeah, I commissioned a painting. It's coming, and I'm actually gonna give it to my brother. He can hang it in his house.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you got you're in the history.
She cartooned up the baseball card for a painting, really cool. Brian, she'll make sure she posts it out so you can check it out.
I asked somebody why they paid $2,000 American for my baseball card, and they were like, "Because you're part of the history." And I was like, "Sure, man." I was like, "Okay." Like,
no, yeah. You're part of the history of sports cards now. And that's what a special, you took a hit for it, but I
wouldn't suggest it. I would have rather stayed at home. But, as some 15-year-old child, some 15-year-old kid who went out to the baseball game, and I was sitting in the bleachers in the outfield, and I was like, you can catch a ball, I'll give you $100. If a ball comes, I'll give you $100. And I didn't talk to him before, and he looks at me and says, but you're a Topps card.
I think it's rad.
Yeah, there's only 110 of them, like you said.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why everybody's going wild for them. You could be on Brian's little holy grail of graded baseball cards. You never know.
I'm putting less than 20 out in circulation. The best is when people are like, "What are you going to do with 100 cards with their face on them?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Well, I don't know. We'll get you one of our cases to put it in for yourself.
Yeah, I also noticed that there wasn't a way to display them in an esteemed way, which I thought was crazy, right? What do you do? Just put them in a box?
Yeah.
No, get that up there,
Yeah, it's time. There's a better way to do it.
Thank you for elevating the art in the hobby.
That's my pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good way to put it, Liz.
Yeah, elevating the hobby.
Really
is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's your tagline for your next promo, Brian. So, is there anything else you'd like to pitch before we wander off?
No, I'm very grateful.
Pretty good.
Had a great time. You guys rock. You guys
go Dodgers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you on, obviously, more often, because, like I said, it was always fun to have somebody that is equally enthusiastic about baseball. And don't sell yourself short, man. You're pretty damn knowledgeable yourself.
Thank you very much.
And not to mention, it's all about personality when we're chit-chatting and having a good time talking about baseball anyways. So, Liz, Jason, anything else you would like to nail before we're good?
No.
Happy World Series Eve.
Yeah. There we go.
And
I love to hear.
happy World Series Eve. And we got to figure out something fun to do for Halloween next week, because we actually are recording on Halloween if we somehow are getting around kids' schedules with Jason and stuff.
I will be
So,
telling you.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the area I live in, I'll get a couple pictures up on social media so you guys can see it. So we get over 900 kids coming to our door, and so I'll also
Lucky if
do
I
the
get one.
stockpile. I think it'd be funny. I'm gonna do a picture with the stockpile of candy that we have. We get so many kids, and I wish I was kidding when I said this. We have a society in Lynn Valley here who actually, part of what they do is they bring us some extra candy so we can deal with the horde that's on its way. It's amazing.
So did I just hear that right, that you're getting like your luxury tax kickback from other people in the neighborhood because you can't get enough candy?
Love it.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Blue Jays baseball fans alike, obviously friends of the hobby as well, that happen to be listening into it. We saw more than 100 of you come in and out. We have 72 currently on as we are wrapping the show. So thank you very much for listening. Great night here with Brian Pirrip and the gang, talking baseball, getting World Series and baseball cards. We are here every Thursday evening, except maybe next week. Jason's going to have too much fun with candy or be in a sugar coma, whichever way it is. We'll see.
Awesome.
So, but on that note, we are here every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Make sure you tune in on Monday evenings, where I'm going to start opening up more and more baseball cards every week just to talk baseball cards and baseball stories. I'm not going after them and looking for crazy cards like some of the people that just rip and rifle through everything. I'm here to tell stories, and I'm looking very much forward to the new Top Stadium Club when they come out, because I love the ones that have new and old players mixed into it. It makes it more fun for me to chit chat too. So that's Monday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern as well. And then make sure you plug us and talk to us on social media. We're here to chit chat. This is the Barroom Chat for Blue Jays fans and all baseball fans alike. Make sure you stop by and have a good time, and we will see you next week. Have a nice one. Cheers. Go
Dodgers.
Thank you for listening to the Jay Bird Watching Podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at BirdwatchingGC, and our YouTube channel. If you want to support the show and get extra content, please consider joining to our Patreon at patreon.com/birdwatchinggc. Go Jays, go.
Woo!